Analysis: Evergrande is involved in the power struggle between Xi Jinping and Zeng Qinghong. Chongqing police shot dead a 69-year-old woman, causing public outrage. 40% of students face high school exclusion in China's education system. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Analysis: Evergrande is involved in the power struggle between Xi Jinping and Zeng Qinghong. Su Jiayin, the renowned founder of China Evergrande Group, finds himself entangled in a web of financial turmoil as an avalanche of negative news continues to circulate. According to Tencent News, the 64-year-old Su Jiayin is presently in Guangzhou but is restricted from interacting with outsiders. Unlike in the past, external companies now require prior approval and clearance to obtain Su Jiayin's signature. Recent developments in the Evergrande saga include Su Jiayin's high-profile divorce announcement last month. This maneuver, perceived as a strategic divorce, seemingly seeks to safeguard Ding Yumei's financial interests while leaving Evergrande Company to grapple with Su Jiayin's mounting debts. The situation took a dire turn on August 16 when Evergrande Real Estate revealed that it was under investigation by the China Securities Regulatory Commission for suspected information disclosure violations. The latest report that Su Jiayin's interactions are now restricted further underscores the grim outlook for him. A barrage of negative news surrounding Evergrande has continued to pour in, fueling speculation that Su Jiayin might soon face apprehension by Beijing authorities. Additionally, revelations online suggest that Su Jiayin's venture into Evergrande Health ended poorly after an expenditure exceeding 1 billion yuan. To establish ties with Brigham Hospital, an affiliate of Harvard Medical School, Evergrande initiated a $200 million donation to Harvard and established 3 research centers, including the Immune Disease Center. Their collaboration began in 2016, with Evergrande International Hospital nearing completion in Boa Town, Hainan Province, by 2018, boasting a registered capital of 200 million yuan and world-class medical equipment costing over 1 billion yuan. Despite its impressive facilities, the hospital faces ongoing financial losses, often accommodating only 10 patients despite having 650 beds. The partnership between Harvard University and Evergrande came to a close in June 2020. In a significant move in July 2020, Su Jiayin rebranded Evergrande Health as Evergrande Automobile. However, by the end of 2022, Evergrande Automobile found itself burdened with total liabilities amounting to 183.87 billion yuan, a financially unsustainable position. This situation has raised serious doubts about the credibility of Su Jiayin and Evergrande. Questions are being asked about the entities that granted Evergrande such substantial loans, particularly considering that Evergrande's book debt stands at a staggering 2.44 trillion yuan, equivalent to approximately $330 billion, representing the world's largest loss in this context. Tang Jingyuan, a Chinese political commentator based in the United States and anchor of Vision Kuaishou, offered insights in an interview with the Epoch Times on September 7. He highlighted Su Jiayin's humble origins as a steel mill technician with no notable family background. Su Jiayin's remarkable success and Evergrande's growth to such extraordinary proportions have raised questions about whether a purely private enterprise could have achieved such stature without support from influential figures within the Chinese Communist Party. In a noteworthy disclosure made exclusively to overseas media in 2021, legal scholar Yuan Hongbing, residing in Australia, put forth the claim that Su Jiayin had served as a white glove for the Zeng Qinghong family. The assertion contends that the meteoric rise of Su Jiayin's Evergrande Real Estate was facilitated by the unwavering support of Zeng Qinghong's younger brother, Zeng Qinghua, a widely acknowledged fact within Chinese official circles. The origin of Su Jiayin's association with the Zeng family traces back to mutual acquaintances within Hong Kong's affluent social circles, as indicated by some online sources. In 2007, Su Jiayin received crucial assistance from Hong Kong magnates such as Xing Yutong, Lu Wanqiong, and Zhang Songqiao, ultimately leading to the successful listing of Evergrande Real Estate on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Wang Youquan, secretary to former CPC Central Committee Standing Committee member Wei Jianxing, recently conveyed to the Epoch Times that Evergrande's present predicament is directly linked to Su Jiayin's belief in the patronage of his alleged behind-the-scenes mentor, Zeng Qinghong, who is perceived to be in opposition to the policies of Xi Jinping. In 2016, the Xi Jinping administration introduced a policy aimed at redefining the role of housing, emphasizing its primary purpose as a place of residence. This commitment was reiterated in Xi's 2017 report to the 19th National Congress when he asserted that housing is for living, not for speculation. Subsequently, the Chinese Communist Party embarked on a series of measures to tighten financing in the real estate sector, leading to the bankruptcy declarations of numerous real estate companies, both large and small, across China. However, amid these evolving policy dynamics, Su Jiayin appeared to disregard the changing landscape and continued to amass heavy debt. The debt ratio soared at an annual rate exceeding 80%. By 2019, Evergrande's total liabilities had surged by nearly 300 billion yuan within a year, with interest-bearing liabilities reaching a substantial 799.9 billion yuan. The turning point came in August 2020, when the Xi administration introduced the Three Red Lines policy for real estate developers. Evergrande found itself entangled in all three parameters of this regulatory framework, rendering it ineligible for Chinese bank loans as per the stipulated regulations. Consequently, Evergrande Group encountered severe financial difficulties due to the tightening of monetary policy. The culmination of these challenges was witnessed in 2021, when Evergrande grappled with an enormous debt default, recording book liabilities of 2.44 trillion yuan, equivalent to more than $330 billion, representing the world's largest loss in this context. According to Yuan Hongbing, a widely discussed theory within Beijing's official circles suggests that Xi Jinping personally orchestrated the triggering of Evergrande's financial turmoil. Allegedly, Xi Jinping issued directives to curtail further loans to Evergrande from banks and implemented measures to hinder the company's access to loans and capital injections through alternative financial channels. The intricate web of Evergrande's financial woes reveals deeper political maneuvering behind the scenes. Xi Jinping's agenda appears to be twofold: dismantling the economic foundations of his rivals in the ongoing power struggle, with a primary focus on destabilizing Evergrande, a pivotal asset linked to Zeng Qinghong. This strategy is emblematic of targeting key economic players to weaken political adversaries. The saga took a significant turn on August 16, 2023, when Evergrande came under investigation by the China Securities Regulatory Commission for suspected illegal information disclosure. The following day, Evergrande sought bankruptcy protection in the United States, filing with the U.S. Court for the Southern District of New York. The rationale behind this move lies in Evergrande's registered address in the British Cayman Islands, a known tax haven adhering to the common law system and aligning with the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. Consequently, both Hong Kong and Cayman Islands local laws enable entities like Evergrande to initiate bankruptcy protection proceedings in the United States. Notably, this bankruptcy protection serves a crucial purpose: to safeguard assets transferred abroad by influential figures within the Chinese Communist Party, including Zeng Qinghong's family and Su Jiayin. By doing so, the burden of Evergrande's massive debt is shifted to Xi Jinping. Wang Youquan emphasizes that Su Jiayin's Evergrande is an extraordinary case in the annals of business history, a prime example of the CCP's powerful families exploiting their proxies to extract wealth from the Chinese populace. This spectacle underscores the profound influence wielded by these white gloves on the country's economic landscape, siphoning resources for personal gain while imposing financial strain on ordinary citizens. Chongqing police shot dead a 69-year-old woman, causing public outrage. In the early hours of September 10, a tragic incident unfolded in Chongqing as a 69-year-old woman lost her life during a confrontation with law enforcement. The Chongqing Wanzhou Police Department released an official statement on September 10, shedding light on the events leading up to the tragedy. At approximately 1 a.m. that morning, a distress call came in from 45-year-old Ms. Chen, reporting that she had been subjected to physical abuse by her inebriated ex-husband, Mr. Li. The altercation between the estranged couple had escalated to the point where Chen had to flee and was subsequently pursued near Qingjianpo. Notably, despite their divorce in 2019, Li and Chen continued to share a residence. In response to the call for help, the police promptly intervened and transported Chen back to her residence to mediate the dispute. However, the situation took a dire turn as Li's emotions flared, leading to further violence against Chen and confrontations with the responding officers. Law enforcement managed to subdue Li and made preparations to take him into custody. It was during this critical moment that Wan, Li's elderly mother, brandished a kitchen knife in a desperate bid to protect her son. Tragically, the police responded by firing a fatal shot at Wan's vital area, leading to her immediate hospitalization and subsequent death. Following this deeply troubling incident, the local prosecutor's office initiated an investigation, and a dedicated task force was established to thoroughly examine the circumstances. This incident has ignited a heated debate, with numerous individuals on social media platforms expressing their discontent towards the actions of the police, alleging an excessive application of the law and a disregard for human life. While some individuals on the mainland express support for the police's actions, a majority vehemently oppose what they perceive as excessive use of force, questioning the necessity of resorting to lethal measures in a situation involving an elderly woman. The issue of excessive law enforcement by the CCP police, resulting in instances of shootings, remains a recurring concern. On the evening of May 30, 2022, a Chongqing police officer fatally shot an individual while handling a dispute. Official reports indicated that the man had attacked the police, but insiders allege that the police resorted to deadly force without issuing a warning. This incident triggered public outrage, leading to widespread scrutiny of the officer involved. The following day, an eyewitness named Yu Xing, a pseudonym, recounted the events to the Epoch Times. He explained that the initial incident was relatively minor, involving a female college student who had damaged a man's battery scooter port. Upon the arrival of a police officer, the college student resolved the situation by repairing the damage to the port. However, the officer proceeded to detain both parties for educational purposes. As a consequence, tensions escalated between the man's wife and the police officer due to his statement. This disagreement quickly escalated into a physical altercation, culminating in the officer forcefully pushing the woman to the ground. Witnessing this, the husband reacted by leaping to his feet. Without prior warning, the police officer abruptly discharged his firearm, resulting in the man's tragic death. Yu Xing emphasized that it is unacceptable for the CCP police to employ lethal force against unarmed individuals. Concerns were raised by numerous Chongqing residents who believed that the police's readiness to use deadly force over minor incidents posed a significant threat to public safety. This incident evoked memories of a similar occurrence in November 2014, when a traffic officer in Guangzhou City fatally shot a motorcycle driver on 3 separate occasions. Subsequently, grieving family members of the deceased gathered at the scene to pay their respects and display banners demanding an explanation. However, law enforcement authorities intervened, dispersing the mourners. This incident triggered a surge of local indignation and attracted hundreds of onlookers who joined the protests. Mr. Chen, a local motorcycle driver, disclosed to Radio Free Asia that local government regulations forbade motorcycle drivers from carrying passengers. He stressed that individuals pursued this line of work out of necessity, enduring the elements and risking confrontations with traffic police to earn a modest income. In a resigned tone, he lamented, "It was the police who shot and killed people." 40% of students face high school exclusion in China's education system. On September 8, NetEase Digital Reading, a popular WeChat public account, released a thought-provoking article titled "40% of students can't go to high school, where do they go if they are shunted?" This piece delves into the plight of junior high school students in China who are unable to access high school education due to the intricacies of the Chinese Communist Party's educational system. According to the data cited in the article, the Ministry of Education of the CCP reported that in 2022, the nation was poised to witness around 16.24 million junior high school graduates. Astonishingly, the number of students securing admission to general high schools stood at a mere 9.48 million, which accounts for less than 60% of junior high school graduates. This distressing statistic implies that approximately 40% of these youngsters find themselves destined for paths other than high school. Examining the situation regionally, it is evident that different provinces exhibit varying rates of high school enrollment. For instance, Heilongjiang, situated in the northeastern part of the country, boasts a relatively high enrollment rate of 69.4% for general high schools. Meanwhile, provinces such as Sichuan, Guizhou, and Jiangxi have only around 50% of junior high school graduates gaining access to general high schools. This regional disparity raises concerns about equity in educational opportunities across the nation. Furthermore, the article sheds light on a significant issue plaguing China's education system: the stark funding disparities between ordinary high schools and secondary vocational schools. According to the Ministry of Education of the CCP, ordinary high schools receive over 60% of the nation's total education funding, while secondary vocational schools are left with a meager one-third share. This financial imbalance has dire consequences, with some vocational schools grappling with financial shortages and outdated administrative structures. These institutions find themselves in a lamentable state, lacking not only professional technical instructors but also essential facilities for hands-on skill development. A disgruntled former vocational school teacher even anonymously shared that the school's laboratory equipment was either non-functional or non-existent. To make matters worse, certain secondary vocational schools resort to providing students with internship opportunities during their summer breaks, essentially deploying them as low-wage labor in electronics factories. The article underscores the grim reality that, due to subpar teaching environments, many vocational school students spend 3 years without acquiring any meaningful skills. Citing a survey involving approximately 100,000 participants, the article reveals that over 60% of parents and business professionals express deep concerns regarding the quality of talent cultivation in vocational education. It appears that these schools are falling short of meeting the workforce requirements of enterprises. Alarmingly, the survey also reveals that, in certain secondary vocational schools, the employment rate of graduates plunges to less than 10%. This paints a bleak picture of the outcomes for many students pursuing vocational education. A concerning trend emerges as many students entering the workforce find themselves in low-skill jobs with meager salaries. This issue is compounded by the fact that the majority of vocational school attendees hail from rural areas. Data cited in the article, sourced from the China Development Research Foundation study of 30 secondary vocational schools in Guangdong, Sichuan, and Guizhou provinces, indicates that 70% of students in these institutions come from rural backgrounds. The rural-urban divide in educational opportunities is evident. Additionally, when reporters inquired about the occupations of students' parents in a Shanghai secondary vocational school, they discovered a disheartening reality: many parents worked as laborers, cleaners, canteen staff, or were unemployed. Consequently, their children often found themselves following their parents' career paths due to limited employment opportunities. This situation was particularly pronounced among migrant children with local household registration. The article has sparked widespread discussion on mainland China's internet platforms. Netizens have lamented that the educational landscape has remained largely unchanged for decades, emphasizing the urgency of reform. They assert that without substantial improvements in vocational schools, the diversion policy merely serves to obstruct the paths of students unable to enter high school. The High School Entrance Examination Diversion Policy, a long-standing initiative by the Ministry of Education of the CCP, entails categorizing students into various school types: general high schools, vocational middle schools, secondary vocational schools, and vocational high schools, based on their academic performance upon completing junior high school. Students from general high schools retain the option to pursue college entrance exams, while vocational schools provide 3 years of specialized training aimed at preparing students for careers in the workforce. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.